Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening to all of you. My name is Steve Lemke. I'm the Vice President here at Rhodes Scholar. We're coming to you from Boston today in the first ever DOS to DOS ETC webinar. And I, along with Mara Della Pascoli, will be your moderator for today. And I want to thank all of you for joining us. And as I said, good morning, afternoon, and evening, because we literally have people, probably about 100 people joining us from across the U.S., Canada, and overseas. We have people with us from Ireland and Scotland. We have a number of people from the West Coast, East Coast, and across the board. One thing that makes these webinars so efficient and effective is that we have something like 19 states represented by our attendees in multiple countries and multiple destinations. So it's a very simple and easy, well, relatively easy way to do it. Again, thanks for joining us. This webinar idea was born in a burst of enthusiasm, and I like to say slightly under the cloud of alcohol at the recent ETC Advisory Council meeting that we had in Alberta last May. We've really adopted the premise that none of us knows what all of us know, and that sharing information all year long is probably more advantageous than trying to do everything in a single 4-day conference in January or February. And really, you are pioneers. You're joining us. You were kind enough to tune into this, but I will warn you that the first of these webinars could be a bit ragged. We've got multiple presenters in different places in different parts of the country. But if you like the idea, we'll be back to you later this year with more offerings and probably on some very specific subjects. I want to also say now and several times during the webinar that if you have ideas that you would like to have us address ETC related, ETC community related or conference related, let us know, because we plan on doing 3 or 4 of these a year, and some will be on very specific subjects rather than a broad base as this one is. As I said, the audience today is a mix of people, some completely new to ETC and some 27-year veterans. Consequently, the agenda is the same. It's a mix of topics, but hopefully we'll have something for everyone. And, you know, this is the second. We did a planner-to-planner one this morning. And today's presenters, some here in the room and some outside: Melissa Gresh from MIT, Roberta Moore, Thompson Safaris, Tim Bennett, G3 Visas and Passports, and Lynn Meehan, New Brunswick Tourism, Heritage and Culture. And then we have myself and Mara Della Pascoli, the founder and chief operator of ETC, All Matters Considered. The agenda today that we're going to cover is the welcome. We've had that. We're doing the introductions now. We're going to talk about 3 primary areas: the conference, what it means, sort of the background on it and how it's planned, a bit about the connects, which is really the business to business. That's where the things are bought, sold, and discussed, and the community, which is a broad sort of base of things that we want to do throughout the year rather than have it just focused on the conference. So the conference that's coming up is the 28th annual, and I'm going to ask Mara to tell us about that and some bits about the history of the conference. Mara?
Thank you, Steve. The conference, we are very proud that it's 28 years of longevity. Every year we have held it. It started for folks that are not familiar or newcomers to this webinar and the conference. It started in a small hotel in 1987 with a desire by the travel planners, those representing alumni, museums, and conservation groups and cultural organizations, to get together to have a forum to chat. Because this was before the internet, before all of our conferencing and web conferencing, and the only way we could gather was at a conference. So this community began as a conference, for lack of better facilitation, and now we evolve the paradigm to a community. The conference purpose remains the same. It brings together the nonprofit travel planners with the for-profit suppliers to 3 things. 1 is professional development. 2nd is to have some really high-quality networking. And 3rd is really to establish business connections and make it a very efficient use of time over the 3 days. Actually, the 3 days go past rather quickly, but the content of the conference is heavy on the education, wonderful evening events for networking, and then we have very serious series of Connect meetings, which we'll talk about later throughout the 3 days.
And Roberta Moore is going to talk to us about the benefits of attending the conference. And Roberta is one of those unique individuals who has the benefit of having once been a planner and now being an operator. So Roberta, you can cover that.
Yes, thank you, Steve and Maura. Yeah, as Steve said, I've attended the conference with a couple different hats, and I have to say that first and foremost, it is a professional conference and offers an incredible opportunity for professional growth, learning, lifelong learning, keeping up with the industry. You know, when travel planners certainly come at it with the perspective to enhance their programs, to discover new destinations, new methods of reaching their constituency. And from my perspective now, as a tour operator, beyond growth and learning, it's incredibly important for me as a relatively small company to connect with our clients. And many of our clients can't offer our destination every single year. And so I don't need to go visit them. I don't have really the funds to be able to go visit every single one of our clients. So being able to just connect with them, see them, say hello, maintain that relationship, and as well as build new relationships. There are constantly new individuals coming into this industry, and being able to meet them, find out the changing missions within organizations is critical, and just learning from our colleagues. So it is an incredibly useful tool, and I'm actually going to be continuing to speak a little bit on the planning process, because part of the benefit is just being part of this community, this overall community, and it doesn't just stop at the conference. The planning process is a very complex system, and I congratulate Mara, and I'm amazed at all she's able to accomplish from year to year. She, as you mentioned, she built this conference to be a professional development opportunity for travel planners originally, and for travel planners, they're usually in nonprofit organizations. They need to get funds to be able to attend. This is professional development, and they have to show their supervisors that there's value to their attendance. And so many sessions are really designed to specifically and at length deal with the issues of travel, of building relationships, of risk management. Several of the ways that we started to connect beyond the realm of the conference was through some regional roundtables. These usually happen in the several months following the conference. You can see the list of several of actually they've got them planned for next year. I thoroughly enjoy these sessions because again, it's another way of saying hello, of meeting some new people, and it's a step beyond the written evaluation that Mara collects at the conference from each session. You can certainly get feedback, but then after a few months you get a chance to digest all that you heard and all that you saw. And so having a chance to connect through these regional roundtables, you get to go over what worked well, what didn't work so well, and as well as new topics. We can continually come up with some additional hot topics. What's hitting the industry? What world event impacted educational travel or travel in general? Everybody's invited to participate, and I'd like to go to different ones. I mean, we're located in Boston, so that's the easiest one for us to get to. But I love trying to work some of my business travel around getting to some of these other meetings so that I can hear what other areas come up with in terms of feedback for Mara. So we're now moving on to the advisory council, which is a critical element to Mara and providing feedback and a barometer test or reading of the industry.
I'm Tim Bennett from G3 Visas, and I did want to take a moment to thank everyone for joining. The Executive Advisory Council was not just a fantastic opportunity for everyone on the council to experience Alberta, and our host did treat us fantastically. But we did a lot of hard work on taking input that we had received throughout the year and in the last conference. And as Roberta mentioned, the feedback that we had received in all of those regional roundtables, and then taking them and putting into brainstorming sessions, and then really trying to turn that into actions that will actually improve the conference for next year, and more importantly, improving the community for the following year. This year we had a big voice for DOS, and we really focus on improving the value of the ETC membership for members of DOS. We spent a lot of time on ways to make that more productive for our contingency, and really how it integrates with the overall vision of what MARA has for the ETC.
Thank you, Tim. I wanted to mention DOS. We'll be using that word a lot in this webinar. Actually, it's our shorthand for destinations, operators, and suppliers. The three groups in addition to travel planners that attend the conference. Well, I was very excited with the Executive Advisory Council and all the regional roundtables this year because programming has taken a lot of new tacks and directions, and I just wanted to share some of the highlights that I find that I think will have people very excited about attending. First, we have an incredible lineup of keynote speakers. We have 5 distinct tracks at the conference. One is travel, and that is going to be keynoted by Andrew McCarthy, who's an editor-at-large for National Geographic, and perhaps his fame is that he was a major actor and producer. And he will be talking and leading a track on travel. We'll be having some workshops about travel writing and about storytelling in travel and intentional travel journaling. So it's a little different experience in the conference to have these workshops. And actually what's great about the workshops, not only are they hands-on, but they give an opportunity to network at a different level amongst all the different groups at the conference. Secondly, we have a track on trends, and that's particularly important this year. We have a major speaker coming from London, Clint Loren, and he will be focusing on the national and actually international demographic trends, the middle class, where money will be, going on through drilling down to some various countries and to the U.S., and he'll be providing some unexpected, I think, conclusions for you to the year 2013, 14, and all the way up to 23. And we also have a strong conservation track this year. That's thanks to our keynote speaker, who's kicking off that track, Brian Scarry, who is a conservationist and a fabulous underwater photographer. Done a lot of work in a lot of the waters around the world. But also we have our Responsible Tourism Showcase winners, past and present, to be able to share some insights and some actual hands-on practical storytelling about what they're doing and how these projects and organizations are contributing to the overall educational travel programming throughout the world. We also have, and it's a standard of the conference, it's a must for travel planners and suppliers alike, which is our risk track. And that'll be kicked off by Peter Greenberg, who's come back from reporting in the field in the Middle East and also in Africa. And we will have a series of risk management sessions. We also have marketing, and this year the marketing will be focused on online and in print, the integration of both. But we also have data management and lists, which is critical to the planners. But also some of the workshops will be geared just for the DOS with Sri, who's been there. He's a major icon at the conference every year. But we're going to actually do workshops, redoing your Facebook page, et cetera, so that you walk home with tools. So we feel that those mainstay tracks will be excellent. We also, in focusing, we have industry forums. They're the type of, actually the format is wonderful, they're very well attended, where we speak about industry issues such as air issues and cruise issues. We also have some sub-trend tracks on millennial to boomer travel. This is going to be rather interesting because the millennials are echoing what the boomers want. We'll have some workshops in developing those programs. We'll have some programs on stretch marketing and actually coming back to the core of the conference, which is using educational assets. That is how this industry makes their programs unique, utilizing faculty from the U.S., faculty abroad, in-country, wonderful guides and experts. And we are bringing actually guides in from 3 different continents, and we have 2 different professors. So it should be a very, very lively discussion and very useful.
So thanks, Mara. We're going to go from hot topics to cold, hard logistics now, and Tim's going to do that for us.
Thanks, Steve. Obviously, when you have a conference, the success of that conference is based on, first of all, getting there and then getting the most out of that conference. One of the reasons why MARA has selected Orlando is because it is so easy to get to, and it's actually very affordable. Flights can be purchase for about $300. It's easy to get to. We've gotten discounted hotel rates, so there's really no reason for folks not to take advantage of the entire conference. So please plan on arriving Wednesday on February 5th and staying all the way to the end. We have created this conference with a deliberate cadence. It's almost like a dance from start to finish, and you don't want to leave at the end and miss out on the opportunity to network and really solidify your relationships with your potential clients or partners throughout the rest of the year. Additionally, we've really made it a friendly and networking and get-together opportunity at the beginning of the conference, so you can share your favorite cocktail with old friends and work on that part of it from the very beginning rather than just a plenary session. So it's very important that you stay for the entire conference and that people are not actually packing up their exhibits prior to the end of the conference, because it sets the wrong tone, and it's really not about consistent with our code of being a community and being respectful of all the other folks that are attending the conference.
Thanks, Tim. One of the main things that comes up at the conference is forums and seminars, and what you have in front of here are the ones that we have for 2014, the DAS, the Travel Planner Executive Forum, Mentor Program, and Seminar on Wheels. And Tim's going to talk about DAS, and then Melissa's going to tell us about the rest. Tim?
Thanks. As Mara mentioned, we're focused on the destinations, operators, and suppliers. The ETC has been well known for catering to the planners, but now this is an opportunity for destinations, operators, and suppliers to focus on the things that are important to us. So this is an opportunity for people who are on the other side of that coin to collaborate. We, in and of ourselves, are a community. We have common goals, we have experience, and we have knowledge that we can share with each other to make the products and services that we provide stronger for those planners. We can speak about things, issues that are affecting our businesses, how we're improving our programming, and improving our relationships not only with the planner community, but also within ourselves. These are an opportunity to share opportunities, network, or maybe potentially business leads for ourselves rather than waiting for that chance meeting with that planner. We can also come up with strategies on how to better market our services to the planning and the purchasing community. A few of the things that we've done to promote this is by creating DOS roundtables. We're doing these both at breakfast time and luncheons. For instance, we're talking about effective collaborations, do's and don'ts of evolving planner and DOS relationships, legal issues, in which we're bringing in highly qualified lawyers from Boston and San Francisco. And then we're also giving an opportunity to highlight some of the destinations in our Ignite session, which is around the world in 60 minutes. We're looking at market expectations and realities, a CEO roundtable, and then a way to drive demand. All of these things are new and a way to improve the value of this conference and the overall community to the DOS community.
Thanks, Tim. Now, Melissa's going to, oh, sorry, Mara, you have a quick.
I wanted to drop in on just something that Tim said so well, is that on the DOS forum that we came up with this concept of having destinations showcasing around the world, we actually have expanded the destination track throughout the conference. This is a direct result of the DOS discussions, both in the regional roundtables and executive forum. So those destination track will be going throughout the 3 days, which is very exciting, and it's a new addition to the conference.
Great. Melissa, travel planners?
Hi, everyone. So just real quickly to kind of restate the travel planners, we're made up of travel program directors and managers from universities, schools, museums groups, natural history groups, and others. And there's one part of one day, as you'll see here, February 6th on Thursday, that we devote as planners to the issues that affect us specifically. So these meetings that are exclusive to us have been part of the conference for some time now, and they're not to be taken as an offense to destinations, operators, and suppliers. It's just a time for us to meet one-on-one with one another.
Yeah, I think, this is Steve again, I think the real issue here is that when DAS is DAS and planners are planners, it's really to get to the heart of those matters that are most important to those sections. There's plenty of opportunities for people to interact on the same issues, but it's a very rare time that all the travel planners and all the DAS get together rather than nationally rather than just doing it regionally. So executive forums, Melissa?
And just to dovetail a little bit on something Tim just mentioned about the DOS CEO roundtables, these executive forums are for the planners, executive directors, and higher-ups. So this time period is set aside for our bosses and our executive directors. The conference might be a good time for you all to meet with our directors, but this is a day set aside for them.
And the mentor meet and greet and program.
The mentor meet and greet is something I've been involved with for many years now. It's to pair up experienced people from the DOS community with someone who might be new. It helps them navigate the conference better, creates community. I encourage you, if you've been to the conference before, to please consider being a mentor. It's a great way to help out newcomers.
And Mara, Seminar on Wheels.
Every year we try to explore the venue around the conference, and this year we are going to do a seminar on wheels. It's a cultural exploration of historic Winter Park. If you haven't been there, it's actually very impressive with the museums, including one of the best in the country, the Tiffany Glass Museum. We offer these as a way for actually threefold. One, to showcase how educational travel is translated in the field just around our conference, to give people an example of the type of programming that the planners like to see on their tours. The travel planner that put this program together is Alex Maddock out of the Art Institute, using her contacts in this wonderfully cultural part of Florida. Secondly, it's a great venue to network with all different categories at the conference. And thirdly, it's a great way to learn because these sites are very unexplored in Florida. So if you are hanging around on Sunday and have the morning, we'll actually conclude just before 4, and we'll be dropping people at the airport as a convenience. So if you think you need to fill the day, it's a great way to do it. And
they'll definitely be there, Mark, because nobody would ever dare now leave before late on Saturday. Right? So we're all set. So we talked about the conference, a little bit of history on that. We talked about some of the seminars and forums that are there. Now we're going to talk about who's going to attend. And we're going to ask Melissa to talk about the planners who attend.
Yeah, the planners who are attending the conference each year, they come from such varied backgrounds. Some are new to the conference, some are from large programs, small programs. They're quite experienced, and some people are totally new to the business. As far as kind of how we work, I wanted to share this information with you. Planners most often work through U.S. tour operators, because the tour operators can handle more than just the trip management. They often offer marketing support, customer service support, call center support, and the issue of liability and errors and omissions insurance, things like that are tantamount for the majority of us nonprofit travel programs. It's also important to note that nonprofit travel programs, none of us operate the same at all. We all have different mission statements and operation models, marketing restrictions. That said, some of us do work within country operators, cruise lines. Some of us seek out destinations for itinerary input, and some of us work with other various suppliers like travel insurance companies and book sales and that kind of thing. But I also want to note one more thing, that the travel planners often have other jobs within their institutions, so travel is not our only focus. We are time pressed, we are risk averse, but we are all passionate about travel and are excited to attend the conference.
Thanks, Melissa.
I was going to jump in. This is Roberta on U.S. tour operators, and this is a big group of individuals that obviously are trying to connect with existing clients. As I mentioned earlier, we don't always get a chance to get out and see our clients. And so this is the be-all, end-all place to be for educational travel. It's also a place to meet potential clients. I think one of the things that's incredibly important for anyone who's considering a U.S. tour operator who's considering coming to the conference is that it is more important to build relationships and that you're not. It's not like a trade show where you're going to be walking away with actual bookings. Most of the time, you're going to walk away with some interest. You're going to walk away learning who all these players are. I think it's pretty obvious that there are a lot of players. You know, this has grown over so many years, and so having a few moments throughout the conference to just kind of figure out who's there and what they're after. I'm also going to talk a little bit about inbound operators because there is a large group of folks who are might be providing guiding service within a particular country, and so they will come to the conference, but their priority, and I think Melissa addressed this beautifully, is that their priority is going to be to try to connect with the U.S. tour operators. Some travel planners do have the capacity, but I think it's pretty few and far between that travel planners have the ability to work directly with inbound operators. For an inbound operator, their connection really should be to that U.S. operator, and then to you know, many times we do ask inbound operators to give timely updates on their regions, and we've had offered sessions during the bazaar time to talk about festivals that travel planners might want to know about, or even U.S. tour operators might want to build into their itineraries. I think Lynn is on to start.
Thanks, Roberta. Lynn is on, and I want to just reiterate something that Mara said earlier. Lynn's going to talk to us about destination suppliers. Roberta talked about the operators, and that's the DOS, Destinations Operators and Suppliers of DAS. But Lynn also is a sponsor as well as a destination. So I turn it over to Lynn. Lynn?
Thank you, Steve. Well, destinations are definitely a key part of ETC, and destinations that attend ETC have representatives from all over the world. They consist of countries, regional and city government tourist offices. They consist of even U.S. domestic, state, regional, convention and visitors associations, city and community-based tourism promotion offices. So it is a vast selection of representatives from destinations. And the key thing is destinations attend ETC. They're not selling tours per se. They're there to inspire, educate, and build awareness, and especially offer expertise about their destinations to the tour operators and to the travel planners as well. Destinations should be considered like the middleman or the middlewoman, I guess, between tour operators and their industry suppliers within their own destinations. Historically, though, interestingly enough, the travel planners have vastly underused this educational segment of the conference, and we continually encourage planners to make it a point to get educated at ETC by meeting with the destinational representatives. As I said, destinations are not selling tours per se. The job is really to be specialists and offer advice to the travel planners and to the tour operators to help them know where are the best areas for certain types of programming. And I will say that travel planners and tour operators, you know, they'll miss a huge opportunity at ETC if they're not spending time with the destinational reps at the Connect meetings and at the networking sessions. One thing important for destinations to know is to make sure, destinations need to make sure that they know which tour operators at ETC are programming into their destinations, because if they're talking to a travel planner, the travel planner is going to want to know that information for sure. And so I want to emphasize that. Of course, another important group attending ETC is the selection of the suppliers. And these are companies that provide travel or travel-related services, I should say, to the educational travel market, such as airlines, hotels, cruise lines, publications, attractions, travel insurance companies, a key part of the ETC world, technology and marketing firms, public relations, even retail sellers and independent consultants. So they make up the group of suppliers. And if I go into the point of sponsors, well, this is, I would say, probably every group is important, but definitely the sponsors are important at ETC. And the sponsors come from the DOS group, that are the suppliers, tour operators, and destinations. And these organizations literally help underwrite a wide array of conference events and venues. When you think about the AV equipment and the food functions that we have, the conference print collateral, even the speakers, and even improving the conference website, there are sponsors helping ETC with all of that. That makes our conference and our connection with ETC that much better. Conference rate, just so you know, has not changed for 5 years, I think, due to the support of conference sponsors. And, you know, it is important that all of the delegates, the travel planners, the tour operators, the destinations, and the suppliers thank those who are the sponsors during the conference. It really means a lot. And there's 6 major big sponsors or sponsor tables in the International Bazaar. And it is important that we drop by and always thank them, especially if some of the ones that we don't know. And if you're wondering what the sponsors do, keep in mind the registration fee probably wouldn't be what it is today if we didn't have sponsors. And so, of course, they have the opportunity to be on display in the bazaar, and we encourage everyone to always acknowledge them as well.
Thank you, Lynn. I couldn't have said it better myself. And Lynn speaks both from the sponsor side and being the destination, so she knows of what she speaks. And I will say this, that there's individual and organizational roles and responsibilities and protocol that goes along with this. And this is sort of the real rules of the game here. And we need hands across the table on all of this so that we're all in agreement on it. This morning we had a planner to planner meeting, and we were very candid with all of the planners that they're there to participate in the conference, not to go to outside dinners or cocktail parties unless they're invited or they're sponsored by a sponsor. So it's a very, very, very specific thing. And for any destinations operators or suppliers who are not sponsors, you have to know that there's a very specific written code and protocol that in order to come to ETC you have to follow. And while I apologize that this isn't the cleanest document to read, you can always fall back on, I couldn't see it, so I didn't understand what he was saying. But I can tell you that this is what we say. As delegates to the ETC, we agree together to be a positive part of our community, which includes our sponsors. And in order for all the groups within our community to enjoy a successful conference, we agree to support the following. No DOS organization will host or participate in private invitational parties, dinners, or other events during the official February 5A date. And that means anything. That means if you're at the conference, you're at the conference. You're not there to handpick or cherry pick from the group a certain amount of certain individual or people that you want to do business with and then take off. That's not the spirit of it. And if you do that and you violate that spirit, you will be asked not to return. We've also asked planners, if somebody invites you to a party and you don't go, the party doesn't happen. So we were very clear with planners this morning that if they're invited to a non-sponsor event, that means something done by a sponsor, it's very important that they don't attend that. The other thing that happens is that the sponsors spend a lot of time, energy, and money in entertaining us at dinners, and they spend time putting together marvelous videos and displays on their countries and destinations and things and what they do. So it's very important that we attend the dinners. These are expensive dinners. You get, as a planner, gets a ticket to go. We were very candid with the planners this morning too that that's a very big part of it. So conference organizers must be part of the registration picture. In the past we've had the odd renegade that comes and just happens to be at the Renaissance at the same time the conference is going on, but that doesn't work either. So really the protocol is pretty simple. It's simple cordiality. A lot of people are paying a lot of money for all of us who are planners. to really keep the cost down, as Lynn said, and she was absolutely correct. The cost has not gone up in 5 years. Without the sponsors, it would go up. So it's very important that we respect that. Now we're going to talk about Connects and the meetings. This is the business part of it, and some other things. So we're going to talk about the value, the meetings, the scheduling, bit of fulfillment, and how to schedule a meeting, and then protocol on that too. So first, the value to a DAS attendee. I'm going to ask Tim to cover that.
Great, thank you. These Connects meetings have really started coming into their own and becoming a focus point of the ETC conference. And I think that we've seen and received a lot of feedback of what works and what doesn't. And we've worked hard to try to improve that process all the way around. But from a DOS perspective, this really is an educational tool for everyone to be able to not only take time to research and target the people that you are looking to connect with, but also find other suppliers or destinations that you can meet with to educate yourself on what their offerings are and perhaps come up with a more robust offering overall. And also finding what are the trends that the planners and other destinations are seeing, and how can you be a part of that? So that as this conference is about education, this is certainly a big part of the Connects. The part that strikes me is that what we've created is, so there's up to 7 hours of Connects meetings that you can participate in. And as this has become a big portion of the conference, it would be silly not to take advantage of that time. This is not another travel organization where you sit at your booth for 4 days and it's not a trade show. This is a time to connect and to educate yourselves with other DOS folks or planners. So if you don't put the money or the time into creating these Connects meetings, you're going to be sitting around like a lost sheep for 7 hours in the hallway wondering why you're not getting any business done. So I would urge you to take the time to do your profiles, which they'll talk about later, to get the most out of this. Throughout these meetings, you're going to have great and efficient networking opportunities, not only with your other colleagues in the destinations operators and suppliers, but also with those planners. So there's going to be over 500 people that are milling about during this session. And with the proper planning, you're going to have the opportunity to maximize that 7 hours and to get out to those 500 people to make those Connects the most valuable as possible.
Thanks, Tim. And I want to say that at the Advisory Council this year, we spent a good portion of the time working on Connects and how they're going to operate. So there are 4 different types of Connects, and I'm going to ask Lynn Meehan to go through those so everybody sort of understands what we're talking about, Connects and the meetings. Lynn?
Thanks, Steve. As Tim said, Connects has become an integral part of the ETC experience, and it is really a valuable way for all of us, the tour operators, suppliers, destinations, and travel planners, to formally meet and discuss business opportunities. And all I can say is, wow, have we come a long way, baby. This is a key part of ETC now, so we encourage everyone to learn about it from the website and understand what the 4 different sections of Connects are. So I'm going to just briefly give a little overview on each one. And of course, you can read more about it on the website as well if you're not as familiar. So basically, the first one is Trade Connects. And this happens Thursday, February the 6th, 10:30 to 12:30 in the International Bazaar. And this is a time for industry trade partners, tour operators, suppliers, and destinations, those 3, to meet independently of travel planners, because the travel planners during this time are in their own function during the Trade Connect. So there's no opportunity for you to meet with travel planners at this time. So as I said, the travel planners are in their own form and not typically in the bazaar. So it is a great time for you to make those connections. And if you don't have meetings set up, don't fret. really, if that doesn't happen, if you're a first-timer, you can walk around the bazaar and catch people, I use the word catch people only if they are not meeting with prearranged appointments. And a lot of them do have free time, but we always want to remember the common courtesy of not interrupting an ongoing meeting. And when there is a new meeting starting, that you do depart that table at that time out of respect for your fellow delegate. So that's Trade Connects. Tour operators, suppliers, and destinations only meet during that time. Then the second one I want to talk about is existing business connects. And so these all have true meanings to these words. And this is about established and ongoing business. So this is Thursday, February the 6th from 2 o'clock to 5:30 in the International Bazaar. It's a time for the travel planners and their established, and I underline established, industry partners to meet and discuss ongoing business. So what that means is basically the travel planners that already work with tour operators, that possibly already do business with even destinations. They want to meet with these current partners. This allows them to free up their time over the next 2 days to meet with new potential people. So travel planners typically do not confirm meetings at this time with new partners. So just keep that in mind, as they are most often tied up with existing partner meetings. And that said, though, some planners prefer to meet with new partners as well during this time. So we do encourage everyone to go onto the website, onto the Connects, and see if there's some opportunities as well. But we just don't want you to be disappointed if you're not getting any appointments during existing business Connects, if you are new to ETC. The third one is new business connects, new business collaborations. Now, this is a great opportunity for everybody. It happens Friday the 7th from 2 to 4 and Saturday from 10:15 to 12:15. And that's all listed on the website, by the way. And they're all in the International Bazaar. So this is the time for all attendees, all delegates, to schedule mini meetings with individuals and companies of interest and to discuss new business collaborations. So planners can meet with tour operators can meet with destinations can meet with suppliers, destinations can meet with travel planners, everyone can meet with everyone. And this is a great opportunity because, again, it will allow other times to free up to meet with other delegates during the designated times. And again, keep in mind, travel planners, again, do not necessarily, may not know you. So this is a great time to try and meet with them again. And we want to focus on the new people, not the existing business. We want to focus on, as a destination, I would want to focus on a new tour operator that would not necessarily know me per se. So keep in mind also that people can mill about the bazaar without appointments as well. That will be open, but we want everyone to be courteous and not interrupting booked meetings and so forth. Now, a fourth category is Speaker Connects. Now, this is really interesting because sometimes you're in a session and you're listening to a speaker and you really get what they're saying, but then after the meeting, everybody's milling around them and there's not an opportunity because you may have to leave to go somewhere else. Well, the Speaker Connects is during Friday 2 to 4 and Saturday at 10:15 to 12:15 as well. And this is a time for free consultations with ETC guest speakers. If you bought their books, you can get them to sign the books and so on. So we encourage everyone to take advantage of meeting these special people that are here at the conference, because we don't know, they may be not there the next year, and maybe it is a one-off opportunity with a great speaker. So we encourage you to meet with them as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. We're going to go to Mara now, because after you decide you want to attend a trade or existing or new business or Speaker Connect, you have to figure out how to schedule a meeting. Mara's going to do that for us.
Thanks, Steve. 1 month before the conference, about 4 weeks to 5 weeks, when we have all the early bird registrations in, we open up the Connect system, and you can go on and you log into the dashboard and you can do this. However, there are 2 caveats to this. One, you have to complete an organizational profile. It's fairly time-consuming to do this for the first time, but the second year you update your profile, it takes about 4 minutes. But it's very important to have the profile in place, because without the profile, no one will know what you do and make a decision whether or not to meet with you. You also, if you're requesting a meeting with a planner or a tour operator or a destination supplier, in 40 words or less, you should really give an introduction of why you think the meeting is important and why the time should be spent that way. If you don't fill out the 40-word introduction, you won't be able to do a meeting because we feel that we need to be very efficient and very targeted. Between the profile and the 40 words, people can decide whether to see you or not because we have your profile link connected to the 40 words. So we make it easy for people to decide 3 things. Yes, they'd like to meet with you. No, they'd like to decline. Or 3, they'd like to schedule a different time. Contrarily, if you actually receive requests for meetings, you will be notified on your dashboard saying you have 5 meeting requests waiting for you. Please respond soonest, because if you don't respond to requests, then those people have their times held up. So we really encourage to be very responsive to the emails coming from ETC saying you have meeting requests, and also that you take the time. It really is worth the time to mine the database of people coming to the conference, reading their profiles, and really be targeted versus shotgun approach of why you want to meet with people, and I think there'll be a better response.
Great, thanks, Mara. Along with this, there's also roles and responsibilities and protocol too. So from the DAS side, you have to do the profile, you have to make the request, you have to get a yes or no response, you have to be there. You get a yes meeting, and somebody buttonholes you in the doorway and says, hey, can you come out here? I just want to talk in the hall, and your 3:15 meeting shows up and you're not there. You probably won't see them again. It's a bad start to a good relationship. So you have to be there. And the major thing for an exhibitor or a DAS member, you have to stay at your table during the times that the exhibition hall is open, exhibit center is open. You have to be at your table. And I can tell you, point blank from the Executive Council meeting this year and what we said to the planners this morning, we're going to focus on this dramatically versus what's happened in some years in the past. So I think you'll be pleased with what's happening. We're asking for full support on all of those. But you know, it's very important too that you don't send a will you meet with me with everybody who attends a conference. It's certainly not going to work. We were very candid today too with the planners to say if you're not interested in meeting with somebody, simply tell them no, you're not interested. So you can move on if they're not interested in it, and then you can attempt to talk to them at a later point and send them some follow-up material. But be considerate, as Mara said, about who you ask. We as planners and others will be considered in the yeses and nos and the responses, and we do expect that if you have a meeting to see the person that you set it up for. So that's what we're looking for consistently from everybody on both sides of the table. I was going to stop now for questions and answers, but in light of the time that we have left, we'll do a quick Q&A at the end of this webinar. So if you're interested in sending in a question, in addition to the ones we already have, put them in the right-hand column at the bottom, type them in now. But I do want to go and say a few words about the community opening doors and to open minds. One of the things that happened, again, at the Advisory Council meeting, and has been sort of in a gestation period for the last 2 or 3 years with the educational travel group, conference, community, everybody that gets together says, you know, this is such a great conference. If we could just capture the enthusiasm of it and the afterglow of everybody getting together all year long, just think what we could do as an industry. So we did. We thought about what could we do as an industry. We can open it up and create it as a community. We can open it to everybody who's in the educational travel business. You know, the conference used to be called the Nonprofits in Travel. And I think the real issue for us is that the overview on this and the benefits, the membership, and the responsible tourism that comes out of all of this is really based on the fact that we're looking at the history of a conference. We need a community. We've had a lot of demand from people out there, and demand in a very sort of plaintive way, a way that people say, why can't we? They're not saying we need this, but they're saying, why can't we have more of this enthusiasm throughout the year? So if you are in the mood to join this community and to sort of wear the mantle of a not-for-profit educational travel group and be a supplier, a destination, or an operator that works with the planners, we would love to keep this community going 365 days a year. Now, do you have to sit through one of these 365 days? No, you have to go to the conference the other 4 days. But really, the bottom line on it is that we're going to come back to you with probably 3 or 4 of these webinars. If you join the community and you want to be part of it, you can expect that we will be back to you. We have committed ourselves as an advisory group. I know Mara has been behind this for a long time, probably 27 out of the 28 years I've heard her say, but we really need to make it more than just a conference. And we really are more than a conference. And, you know, we got small staffs and big jobs. And I think as Melissa said, you know, one of the benefits of coming to the conference is that you get out of your office and you get there and you see people. We think we can create that same dynamic throughout the year of getting people sort of at least mentally, if not physically, out of their offices and onto the website and into each other's heads and do some best practices and have some of these webinars on reports and research. And we can make a big difference within not only the community that we're creating, but the community in which we work. So that's sort of both our promise to you and our pledge, as well as our plea. Seriously consider being part of the ETC community. You'll hear more between now. That it's kind of frenetic between now and the time that the conference starts, but we will be asking you to do that, and I would ask you to pay particular attention later on. We talk about membership and cost, because it doesn't cost a lot to be a member of a very large group. Mara, do you want to talk a bit about benefits to the community?
Yes. We actually have on your, whenever you register, if you do register for the conference, you'll have a dashboard assigned to you, a personalized dashboard. And you'll see this on the screen, the dashboard, and there are several benefits that you will get on the dashboard. This is the top part of the dashboard, which you see if you register for the conference. You'll see a lot of links that are not live. They're not live for non-members. However, the most interesting is the bottom part of the dashboard, which shows you all of the community resources. These are anything from online searches. You might like to search and see who offers a particular destination, who offers FIT programs, who offers family travel, who is looking for a certain destination. We've created a lot of new online searches available to members, not to conference registrants only, but to members. But a benefit of registering for the conference is that we have bundled in the registration fee for DOS. So therefore, anyone who is currently on this webinar and is registered for the conference, you will be able to use these resources. The research is wonderful too. This year we commissioned Peter Yezowich, based on his very enthusiastic response at the conference last year, for conducting research on the educational travel market. That research is available to members at a fraction. I mean, we give you a summary for no cost. They actually wanted to get that research, it would be close to $3,000. We do reports everywhere we go as the advisory council or educational. We actually provide those reports on destinations for all of the community to mine, including great guides and specific itineraries. One wonderful thing which I think everyone will be interested in is that you can post events, you can post announcements that are generic to the community that you think someone needs to know about. Your country has won a UNESCO award, there's something going on of particular significance. A disaster, unfortunately, has struck. You can get updates to the community. There is no cost to that. That's all for the community benefits. You can post field reports. There is also the opportunity to post commercial announcements, but that's fee-based. We also provide for people who do not come to the conference MP3 downloads of all the sessions, and they can mine the database as well, so that if your organizational profile is in that database and they're not at the conference, they could actually look at you on the online International Bazaar.
So, what does all this mean as far as membership, registration, cost, and so forth? I'm going to ask Tim to give you the very reasonable bottom line on all of this. And I just want to add one thing to some of the things that Mara talked about, the research and reports that are being done right now that's going to be gathered during the year. It would be well worth the cost of the community membership just to get those reports. Tim?
Thank you. The first thing is that obviously you can join very, very easily. Just go to travellearning.com/membership, and I understand that there's a big button there that says join. So I think that all of us would be able to find that very, very easily. Your membership would be valid all the way until December 15th of 2014. That was a question in the last session, so I'll bring that up now. The annual member fee is a very reasonable $475, but it's discounted for those who are attending the ETC conference in 2014. And if you've already registered for ETC like I have, the membership fee has been bundled into the registration fee at a discounted rate of $200. So for those of you who belong to other professional organizations, you all know that this is extremely reasonable for all of the things that you're getting, not only at the conference itself, but also for the resources that Mara just highlighted.
So the last subject we're going to talk about today, we're going to ask Roberta to talk about responsible tourism, the showcase, and the silent charity auction.
Sure. The ETC is committed to advancing responsible and sustainable tourism, and the Responsible Tourism Showcase is our effort to give back to the community by recognizing the efforts of ETC members and their partners working diligently in the field. You can look at the past honorees online, and we also encourage those of you out there who have a worthwhile project to submit the project for consideration. The outstanding programs are additionally recognized with awards, and this is paid for through the silent charity auction. It is an element of the conference. It's set up right out by the bazaar. Wonderful donations from destinations. Actually, anybody can submit a donation. Bidding takes place throughout the conference, and we encourage everyone to participate. There's no funds being raised other than to actually award these wonderful programs. So we encourage you to take a look and participate by donating and bidding.
And I would echo that with everything that Roberta said, in particular the silent charity auction. It always stuns me what's there, almost to the point where I don't really start to bid because I think it's too good a deal. So really, I suggest that early and often you take a look at those offers and really consider, talk to your friends, spouses, partners, and others that say if there's some really good deal going on, should I bid on it, and call them at home and find out if they want to go. Mara?
And if you take a look at the website, you'll see that we've showcased all the past donations last year, and we'll continue to do that this year. So there's also some marketing visibility for those wonderful donors.
Right, so you know what you missed and you know what's coming up. So now it's Q&A time, and I know it's a couple of minutes after 3, and I want to thank everybody for being with us. There are a few questions. If you want to stay with us to hear the questions and the answers, we'd be happy to have you do that. If for logical reasons in business you have to go, thank you for doing it. I will say this, that if you have ideas for future webinars, as I said before, we plan on doing 3 or 4 of these a year, and I think the ones coming up will be on more specific topics, so they may appeal to maybe half the audience or whatever, but there will be something for everybody in probably 2 out of the next 3 or 4. So consider that, and if you have ideas, if you sit silently and don't tell us, that's on you. If you tell us and we don't do it, that's on us. So again, thanks for joining us. We're going to go to Q&A right now. I have some questions in front of me. I don't think we'll sign off and come back on, but the first one was recording the session. Will it be posted on the ETC website? Yes, we recorded this session, and we also recorded the planner one, so both of them will be posted on the website. If you're a DOS person, you can listen to this one. If you're a planner, you get the other one, but they covered the same ground in many other ways. This question, how do I become a mentor? I'll leave that tomorrow.
When you register for the conference, there's a checkbox on your registration form that says, I would like to be a mentor. We follow up with that comment, and we give you the guidelines, and we actually assign you 2 to 3 mentees that are within your constituency. If you haven't done that, and you've registered for the conference already, just go back to the dashboard, and there's a nice place on your taskbar that says Edit My Registration. You can go into your registration form and check the box off.
Thanks, Mara. A couple of almost logistical questions. Transfers, yes or no, from the airport, they included, or how do we do it? And can people stay on at the hotel beyond the conference now that they're staying well into Sunday to do SOWs as well?
I have to say that there's been a great response for before the conference. We're now sold out at the conference hotel on the 4th, which is a Tuesday night. We actually have another block at the Hilton Garden Inn for that night. So there's been great demand for people to come early. But we also have nights after the conference, and there's a lot going on in that area. So yes, you can book through the conference rate, and you can book the hotel for dates after the conference, and there'll be a second block at the Hilton Garden Inn for the night of the 4th. We still have rooms available from the 5th through the 9th, but we're almost 85% sold out, or close to 90% sold out in the room block.
Great. So there's where we're all going to see each other in a few months, February 5 to 8, 2014 at the Renaissance Orlando. And then after that, we're going to communicate and commune 365 days a year on the community. So, all right, turn it over to you.
I do want to take just a moment to say thank you.
Sorry, Steve, does she have her mic on?
Do you have the mic on?
Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Great. I wanted to say this is a picture of the Executive Advisory Council in front of you in Alberta. We were working hard to put together a great program for everyone this coming February. And I think that you will find many, many changes based on the recommendations that you inputted. If you have any questions whatsoever, please feel to actually email the ETC team or to call 406-745-4800, and we can answer the majority of the questions. But I think you will see, or you have seen, a new website launch. So there's a lot of